Every few years, a game appears that feels much bigger than its production story suggests. Clair Obscur Expedition 3.3 is one of those games. Released in 2025, it arrived as the debut title from Sandfall Interactive, a comparatively small studio with a very specific ambition to make a premium, high-fidelity, turn-based role-playing game at a time when many large publishers had moved away from that formula. What followed was not just a successful launch, but one of the most dramatic critical breakthroughs in recent RPG history. The game became known for its dark fantasy world, emotional storytelling, striking Belle Époque-inspired art direction, and a combat system that blended classic turn-based strategy with real-time pressure. By the end of its awards run, Expedition 33 was no longer just a surprise hit. It was being treated as a landmark. The premise is immediately haunting. Expedition 33 takes place in a world terrorized by a mysterious being known as the Paintress. Each year, she paints a number, and everyone at or above that age is erased from existence in an event called the Gommage. The number keeps decreasing, meaning death is not only inevitable, but scheduled, public, and getting closer for everyone. This simple concept gives the story an unusually strong emotional engine. It turns aging into a countdown, survival into a generational crisis, and every expedition into both an act of rebellion and a near-certain sacrifice. The player follows the members of Expedition 33 as they set out to destroy the Paintress and end the cycle before another year of erasure claims more lives. The setting gives that premise its identity. Clair Obscur draws from a dark fantasy version of Belle Époque aesthetics, evoking elegance, decay, beauty, and dread all at once. Instead of a standard medieval fantasy world, the game leans into ornate architecture, painterly environments, theatrical costumes, and a mood that feels romantic but doomed. That contrast is important. The world is not ugly because it is dying, it is beautiful, and that makes its destruction more painful. The title itself suggests a play of light and shadow, and that idea runs through the entire presentation. Expedition 33 is built around opposites, art and violence, hope and grief, youth and mortality, turn-based patience and real-time reflex. At the center of the experience is a party-based role-playing structure. Players control a group of characters from a third-person perspective, exploring areas, encountering enemies, and gradually learning more about the world and the people fighting to save it. This is not just a mechanical choice, it supports the story's core theme. An expedition is not a lone hero's journey. It is a group of people carrying fear, loyalty, trauma, and responsibility together. Party-based RPGs are especially good at showing how characters change in relation to one another, and Expedition 33 uses that tradition to make its doomed mission feel personal. The question is not only whether the Paintress can be stopped, but what each character is willing to lose along the way. The combat system became one of the game's defining talking points because it respects old-school turn-based design while refusing to feel static. On the surface, battles use familiar RPG ingredients, party members, selected actions, enemy turns, strategy, and resource management. But Expedition 33 adds real-time elements, including quick-time events and timed actions. That means players are not simply choosing commands from a menu and watching outcomes unfold. They have to stay engaged during attacks and defenses, timing inputs to increase damage, reduce harm, or survive dangerous moments. This hybrid approach creates a rhythm closer to performance than pure calculation. It rewards planning, but it also rewards attention, timing, and mastery. That design choice matters because it answers a long-running tension in RPG development. Turn-based combat is often praised for strategy and clarity, but criticized by some players as slow or old-fashioned. Real-time combat feels immediate, but can sometimes sacrifice tactical control. Expedition 33 tries to bridge that divide. Its turn-based foundation allows players to think through party roles, enemy patterns, and ability choices. Its real-time inputs make every exchange feel active. The result is a system that can appeal to fans of classic Japanese RPGs while still looking and feeling modern. It is not turn-based combat preserved in amber. It is turn-based combat reintroduced with cinematic urgency and mechanical pressure. The origins of the game make its success even more remarkable. The project began around 2019 with Guillaume Broche, who had worked at Ubisoft before leaving in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. He went on to form Sandfall Interactive with friends and professional contacts, building a core team of about 30 developers. That number is small compared with the teams behind many blockbuster releases, but the studio's goal was ambitious from the start. Sandfall wanted to create the kind of visually rich, emotionally driven turn-based RPG that its developers had grown up loving. The point was not to imitate the past cheaply. It was to make the kind of game they felt major studios were no longer prioritizing. The developers were openly inspired by Japanese role-playing series such as Final Fantasy and Persona. That influence can be seen less as a direct copy and more as a design philosophy. Those games showed how turn-based combat, strong party dynamics, memorable music, and heightened emotional stakes could work together. Sandfall took that foundation and filtered it through a distinctly European fantasy identity. This combination helped Expedition 33 stand apart. It did not look like a nostalgic throwback, even though it was built on traditions many players already loved. Instead, it felt like a modern answer to a question RPG fans had been asking for years: what would a big, beautiful, serious turn-based RPG look like if it were made with contemporary technology and confidence? Technology played a major role in achieving that vision. Development began in Unreal Engine 4 and later moved to Unreal Engine 5, allowing the team to improve rendering and presentation as production evolved. For a game so tied to art direction, lighting, atmosphere, and expressive environments, that technical shift mattered. Expedition 33 needed to sell a world where painting, erasure, and beauty were not just story concepts but visual experiences. High-fidelity graphics helped the game communicate scale and emotion without relying only on dialogue. The result was a title that carried the structure of a traditional RPG but the visual impact expected from a modern premium release. When Clair Obscur Expedition 33 launched on April 24, 2025, it released for PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X and S. It was also available day one through Xbox Game Pass, which gave it immediate visibility to a large audience that might not have taken a full-price risk on a new studio's debut game. That accessibility helped turn curiosity into momentum. Players could sample the game quickly, conversation spread, and the strong critical reception gave the launch additional force. For a new intellectual property, that combination is extremely valuable: a clear hook, strong word of mouth, broad availability, and reviews that told skeptical players this was not just another ambitious indie-adjacent RPG. It was the real thing. Critical reception was extraordinary. Reviewers praised the narrative and themes, especially the way the game used its fantasy premise to explore mortality, grief, sacrifice, and resistance. The art direction received major attention for giving the world a recognizable identity rather than blending into generic fantasy. The original soundtrack and performances also became key parts of the acclaim, reinforcing the emotional tone and helping the characters feel memorable. Importantly, praise was not limited to one department. Expedition 33 was celebrated as a complete package: story, visuals, music, direction, and gameplay all working toward the same mood. That kind of alignment is often what separates a well-liked game from a generational favorite. Commercially, the game proved that the enthusiasm was not limited to critics. By April 2026, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 had sold 8 million units, a massive number for a debut title from a new studio. Its awards performance was even more historic. At the Game Awards 2025, it received a record 13 nominations and won 9 awards, including Game of the Year, becoming the most awarded title in the show's history. Even more impressively, it became the first debut title to win Game of the Year from all 5 major Game Awards ceremonies: the Golden Joystick Awards, the Game Awards, the DICE Awards, the GDC Awards, and the BAFTA Games Awards. For Sandfall Interactive, Expedition 3.3 was not just a successful first game. It was proof that a focused creative vision, rooted in beloved RPG traditions but executed with modern ambition, could still reshape the conversation around what big role-playing games can be. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.